Spooky Storytime Series Part 2. So y'all know I had to start this off with a banger, period. So I'm going to tell this story, and then as I go along and tell y'all other story times, I'm going to refer back to some things that I'm telling y'all now. So just keep in mind that it's going to all make sense in the end. So we're going to title this story time The Choice. Y'all going to see why I titled it that as we go along. So as I told y'all in the previous story, I was 4 years old living in South Carolina with my mom and my brother and my stepdad, and I ended up getting hit by a car. So I moved back to Virginia with my grandparents, and then sometime later my mom and my little brother moved back with my grandparents too once my mom broke up from my stepdad. Once they ended their relationship, she moved back in with me, my grandparents, and my brother came as well. So when I was 9 years old, me, my mom, and my little brother were living in a neighborhood in Portsmouth. And I'm going to go back and tell y'all stories about that house because that house was definitely haunted, and I have so many story times for that. But right now we're going to focus on this one. So because this house was haunted, me and my brother were like super scared being in that house. We never slept in our rooms. We always slept in the bed with my mom because we were just too terrified to sleep in our own rooms, y'all. It was that real. I can name about maybe 2 to 3 times the whole time that we lived in that townhouse that we actually slept in our room. So much so that the only time we slept in our room is when we were on punishment or in trouble. That was our punishment. So like I said, I was about 9 and my little brother was about 6, 7 or whatever. And this particular night, we were watching a scary movie, y'all. And the crazy thing about it is, I have to say this because it's very important. It was so many times where we would be watching a scary movie and whatever happened in that scary movie happened to us in real life. This night was no different. Meaning we were watching a scary movie and it started to thunder and lightning real hard on the movie. And simultaneously, y'all, it started doing it outside. The very moment that the lightning struck on the screen in the movie, it did the very same thing outside of our window. And mind y'all, our TV was like right by the window. Like if this is the window, this is how the TV was on the stand beside our closet that was right there. So it was literally right near the window. So that's scary, you know, like that scared the fucking shit out of me, y'all. Like because it just happened too many times. But anyways, after we watched the movie, me, my mom, and my brother fell asleep in the bed. Our bed was pushed up on the wall. So my mom was on the side that wasn't on the wall. I was on the side that was closest to the wall, and my brother was at the foot. Y'all, and that's very important because as a kid going through all of these paranormal experiences, I had to sleep on the side with the wall because I was afraid that if I slept on the outside, something was going to get me from under the bed. It just made me so much secure. Like, comment down below if y'all ever felt like that. So this story time is going to be about my first time having sleep paralysis and also me almost selling my soul to the devil, y'all. In so many words. Mind y'all, I was at the age of 9. So one thing that I hear a lot of people say when it comes to sleep paralysis, I experience. It always feels like you don't get any sleep or you're drained because I went to sleep and it was dark and I woke up and it was light and it seemed like no time had passed. Like I was so drained, y'all. Like it just seemed like I blinked and it was daytime outside already. Whole time hours have went past that I'm experiencing this sleep paralysis and daytime just came so quickly. And y'all also got to understand that, like I said, I was 9, so I had no idea what sleep paralysis was until I found out what sleep paralysis was. So I'm laying in the bed, y'all, and my eyes are wide open. Like I can see the ceiling and I am stuck. Like when I tell y'all I am stuck, I cannot move, but I know that I'm trying to move. Like I'm trying to convince myself to move. Like I'm yelling at myself, move your arms, move your legs, but I cannot move, y'all. So of course y'all know with sleep paralysis or nightmares, there are different ways where you can tell if it's real or a nightmare. So there was a couple of things that made me realize it was a nightmare. One being that my mom was waking me and my brother up for school in the dream, but in real life it was the weekend. We didn't even have school the next day. Another thing was my mom's demeanor as she was waking us up for school. She was like really, really anxious. She was rushing us to get dressed. She was rushing us to hurry up and get out the door. And I kept thinking to myself, like, why is she rushing us out the door? Mind y'all, this is still my dream, okay? This is still my dream. I'm talking about my dream now. We're in the dream world, not the physical. So finally, when I decided to ask my mom, like, Mom, why are you rushing us? She was like, because I don't want y'all to miss the bus. That was another way that I realized that it was a dream because we didn't even ride the bus to school. The school was in walking distance, y'all. Like, it was literally a couple spaces down from our neighborhood. Literally. We lived on the same street as our school. No bus at all. So as me and my brother are running out the house, as soon as I open the door, I see 2 police officers at the door. And I'm looking back at my mom like, Mom, what's going on? Because at this point now, she's rushing us. She's rushing us, like, she's not giving no excuse as to why we got to go with these police. So I'm like asking her questions. She's like, go ahead. It'll be fine. Just go. Just go. You'll be good. Immediately as I decided to go with these police officers, my brother disappeared. He was no longer with me. He was no longer in the dream at all anymore, just for that beginning part. So once I got into the police car with the police officers, I looked back at my mom, and it was like instantly I knew I was never gonna see her again. Like, my heart sunk. So y'all, as we get to the end of the neighborhood, I shit y'all not, it just turns into woods, and the two police officers turn into like big black wolf like animals, and the police car turned into a garbage can, y'all. So as we're going into the woods, we end up like being at this little church, right? And then I'm forced out of the car by these two wolves into the church building. The church building wasn't scary within itself, it was just all weird. You get what I'm saying? The whole thing was weird. So as I walk in, it's, you know, I'm walking down the aisle and there's pews on each side. You can hear like music playing, but it's not like godly church music, it's almost demonic music. And you can hear like the people that's in the pews just humming. They had no way to talk, they could not talk. Like, they were literally just humming to the beat, not opening their mouths. But you could hear like some sort of commotion, but nobody's mouth was moving. So as I look up and I look ahead after I'm looking around, there's this like bright light, like this bright figure sitting in a big chair on the throne. I knew that that was God. And then it was two angels, two spiritual angels on each side of him, right? And then the devil is now behind me. So those two police officers turned into two wolves at first, and then as soon as we got inside of the church, they combined themselves into one spirit, one wolf, y'all. One wolf. There was no longer two. I don't know what any of this means, but y'all tell me if y'all know. So at this point, I realized that all of the spirits that were on the pews were people who had passed on, but they were lost souls. So the devil was literally going out trying to collect souls for these people to live eternally. These people were just sitting in limbo. So that was my situation. He was trying to get me to sell my soul so that my consciousness and my soul can enter into one of their bodies and they can live eternally. But that meant that I would die. I also want to say that when God was speaking to me, he didn't speak with his mouth. He was speaking through my heart. But when the devil spoke, he was actually using his words. He was actually moving his mouth. And because God spoke to me spiritually through my heart, the devil thought that I could not hear God. So he felt like it was easier for him to trick my mind as well. So at this point, the devil is trying to make me choose between him and God. And God is speaking to me the whole time. And the devil began to entice me with my like deepest desires to get me to sell my soul to him. Immediately after that, the two angels that were on each side of God turned into two demons. They turned into wolves as well. And at that point, I said no to the devil. Like, I'm not selling my soul, because God was speaking to me. And he got so angry that as soon as I said no, I started to rise up as if my spirit was going back into my body. As I'm rising up, the devil and the two other ones, they were pulling me back down. They were like, don't let go, don't let her go, don't let her go, don't let her go. And y'all, not only that, but as they're doing this, I'm literally feeling burns on my skin as they touch me. With every touch, I'm getting burns. And I still have marks on my body to this day from this dream that came out of nowhere. But eventually, I just said no. I told the devil that I choose life. He would not be enticing me. I choose life. He got upset. And at that point, I was trying to force myself to come back out of the dream. I also was getting bit up, y'all, as well. Like, I was getting bit up by these motherfucking wolves. Really, really, really bad, y'all. And like I said, I still have marks to prove it. But when I finally woke up and I was able to control my body, I immediately looked over at my mom and my brother, and they are sleeping peacefully. Meanwhile, I'm over here having the nightmare of my life. Like, I was terrified, y'all, from that point on. But in conclusion, reflecting back on this whole entire experience, I do feel, one, that in some form my mom was trying to sacrifice me to save herself. Like, she had a decision to make as well, and she was willing to sacrifice me. Also, looking back on it, y'all, I do not know how my 9-year-old mind came to the conclusion of choosing life and choosing God through that whole experience. I tried to tell it as quick as possible, y'all, so I did leave out some details. So if you guys got any questions, just, comment them down below and I'll try to respond to them as quick as possible. But that's all I got for y'all today. That's the end of the story. I'm gonna just end it right there. Y'all stay tuned for another story time. Comment down below what type of story times y'all want to hear from me other than the spooky series, as well as make sure y'all DM me or send me y'all spooky story times, and I will tell them on my channel. Anyways, I love y'all, gang. Hope you enjoyed the video. Like, comment, subscribe. See y'all in the next one. Bye.